Okay, so I keep trying this, I keep failing at this, so I'm sorry if it takes a long time to get used to it. But as you're fully aware, there's not a great deal of Photoshop. I don't know why this keeps happening. Photoshop tutorials out there, and if I can remember where I'm going, let me just fix this quick. Okay, so I'm on Windows 7, and sometimes it doesn't like when I do this tutorial stuff. So let's just restore this. There we go. Right, I should really keep that open permanently. So this is Photoshop, and as you can see, it's CS6. It's the latest edition of Photoshop out. Dare I say there'll be another one in about 6 months to 12 months time. Don't hold me on that one because I have no idea. It's not going to let me do it today. Right, anyway. So on Photoshop, obviously you have your toolbars, which are here. It's really important that you learn shortcuts for these. You get V for this main button here, crop is C, clone stamp is S, you get the burn and the dodge tool, the text tool, the zoom in, you've got everything there. And not only that, but you also have your taskbar at the top. Up here you can find everything you're going to need, absolutely everything. So I was thinking, you know, maybe we could have this picture here of my eyes, like my boyfriend took, absolutely love this picture. Or we could have Trafalgar Square, both are really good. And just before I start, you might not be able to tell, but these are two different images. This is the edited version, this is the unedited version. So let me just zoom into these. Ooh. So I'm not used to this just yet. So there's the edited. Here's the unedited. Now as you can tell, you've got all the beams and the fabric here. It's just horrible. There's no contrast in it. It was completely the wrong lighting, but you know, as photographers, you need to learn how to change that. So of course here it's a lot darker, it's a lot better, there's more contrast in it, you can see a lot more detail in it. Now, before you ask, oh, what should you use? I use a Canon 1100D. It's just a basic SLR camera, you can Google it, you'll know what I mean. So yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so let's just minimise these. So I've already shown you this. So let's get Bridge open. So this is Photoshop Bridge. This is what pretty much most photographers will use to go from. So obviously I've got all my all the stuff that I'm going to use in it. So all my folders, everything. So it's fantastic. Now this image here I did on another Adobe program, but you know, you wouldn't thought it was a magazine that I created, so it's fantastic. Right, anyway, I'm going to go into this folder here. It's generally where all my work is, and it's also where my boyfriend's pictures are. So, sorry for any images that you might think, oh my god, why is that in there? She's a photographer, she should be better organised. I'm better organised when I want to be. The most important thing you should really have as a photographer is some form of external storage, so like an SD card or an external hard drive is fantastic. If you're going to use memory stick, you're going to need a lot. You're going to need a lot of data on each one. You're going to need at least 32 gigabytes on each stick, and you're going to need about 10 of them. So my advice to you is just to buy an external hard drive. It's easier, it's quicker, it saves you a lot of money. It's just worth the money. I mean, I got my second hand for about £25. Dare I say, over in America, you might get them for about $40 to $50 if you're lucky. You just have to keep an eye out. eBay is just fantastic. So this is the image we're going to do. It's just an image that'll be easier to go from. So this, when you choose an image, you need to go to File, Open With, and then Adobe Shop Cs6 default. It will then open up for you. Now, when you open an image, it will automatically rotate to how it should be. So your camera will have sensors, and the sensors will bring data from them, save them onto the image, and when the image is uploaded onto your computer, you can then go straight from there, and it will tell your computer if you want a landscape or portrait. So I did in portrait, and at a very, very difficult angle because I was actually sat on Trafalgar Square when I took this. So it pretty much looks like a black and white image, but it's not. I assure you, it's not a black and white image. It's done in colour. I do everything in colour. It's easier that way. It's more sufficient that way, because if you decide afterwards that you wanted it in colour, you could have lost a really good image. So I go from colour into black and white, and it's really, really important that you get in the habit of taking from colour and not from monochrome. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do levels. So we can go image adjustment, then levels, or we can do Control L, which will bring the same thing up. So get used to your shortcuts, it's really, really important. So this is the darkness, then you've got midtones, and then you've got the whites. If you're doing an RGB, if it's black, it's 0, if it's white, it's 255. It's really, really important that you remember them. So we're gonna add into this and take from that. Now you just keep going until you're roughly happy with it. Now you must keep an eye on everything in this image, not just the sky, not just these beautifully crafted pieces of work, not just the whole sculpture, but you have to keep an eye on the entire image because you have lots of different colours. And then you go into your monotones, and then you pick what you prefer. So I'm quite happy with that, so I'll click OK. And once you do that, you can then go into curves, which sometimes is a good idea. So this is your curves panel, and then I won't actually add into it. But you can see roughly what it does. I prefer levels, so if you prefer levels or curves, it's completely up to you, but I prefer my levels. So, I didn't want that image. So once we've done that, we're going to go into the brightness and contrast. This one doesn't have a shortcut, I don't know why. I think it should. So this one, obviously, I will take the brightness away. So I'll go from there, and then you add your contrast in. My lecturer loves contrasting images. He loves lots of contrast in there, especially black and white images. So if we're doing film, this is the best that he loves. He loves more contrast. I'm pretty much the same, but it depends on the image. It depends on colour as well, if it's black or white or if it's in full colour. So I quite like that as is. So as you can see here, I've got 32 and 27, and then I click OK. So once I've done that, I will then go back and then I will do my saturation. So this one has a shortcut, it's Control U. While I remember, if you're on Mac, it's not Control button that you use, it's your Command key. So it looks like a square with little circles coming out of them, and it's all in one line. So I'm being trained on both. I know I shouldn't. I should only be trained on one or the other, but what I get learned on Macs, I then go and learn on Windows because it depends on the systems that you're using. I've just got Windows 7. It's quite a good system to use. I'm not quite over keen on 8, so I'm going to stick with 7. So once we've done this, we will then do Control U, and it will bring this box up here. And all we're going to do is going to take this dial in the middle, going to click and drag right to the edge, and it's going to go -100. Now if you have a look, you can add, or you can take, if you take saturation out, you remove all the colours. If you do that, it is really, really important. You do your contrast and you do your levels, so you can make it from a flat image to an image that has got a lot more depth to it. And then click OK. Now, as you can see here, you've got everything that you've done. So if you want to take the hue and saturation up, that's fine. And then if you want to add in, so you can see there it's gone from colour on here to no colour. I've taken the colour out. Same with the open, so that's the open state and that's the current state that I've done. Now I'm going to crop this, so the crop tool here, or you can just push C and it will do it for you. Now I don't use these when I'm doing it because it just makes life too complicated, and even though you can do it, you have to keep an eye on too much. So I do one side at a time. Really, really important that you do that. So I go right in and I'm going literally just to the edge here. Now I've cropped a little bit out here of the man, but it's not too bad. I quite like it the way it is. And the image I've done before, if you just excuse me for a moment, is this one here. So you can see here I've cropped right in and I've cut the corner out here, but it's entirely up to you. So I haven't cropped in there. I think I quite like this bit here. Once you've done, all you do is hit enter and it will then give you your image. Once you're finished, push V or click right up here. It's really, really important you do this because if you don't, you can recrop and then you have to undo, which is Control Shift Z. No, I can't remember, Control Alt Z, sorry. It's been a few weeks, I've been prepping for a holiday. And then to go forward, it's Control Y. No, it's not. Control Alt Y. And it's not that either. As you can tell, it's late at night and I am so tired. So step forward, Shift Control Z. A lot of programs it's Control Y. Hence confusion. So, and if any of my lecturers are watching this, I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is what I quite like as a minute. Now, some of you might maybe thinking, oh, or maybe I want to dodge or burn things. I think I'm going to cover that in another video because I think doing just the simples is hard enough to grasp. So I'm going to do it one step at a time, and that's how I learn, and that's how I think it's best for everyone to learn. Now, I always do mine in RGB, and you might think this is crazy, but I'm being serious, it's the best. So, once you've done, you need to save this as a PSD. So you need to go File, Save As, not Save, but Save As. And obviously you don't want to do that, I have just one for edited work. Now I've already pre-saved one, which is pretty much the same. So PSD is right at the top on this one, and it's there. So I'll just do one with V2. I'll put a space in there. Now it's really important that you save as PSD and before you do the JPEG, because if you want to do any changes later on, then you can, it's not a problem. Then once you're finished and once you are happy, you go save it as again, down to your edited work, and then you go as a JPEG. I'm not actually going to save it because I've already got one saved. So once you get this, you want the quality as 12, which is maximum. Now you can change it to 11, 10, 9, 8, but I always do is 12 because I think it's just the best. And then you click OK. I'm not in this case, I'm going to click cancel. So I think that every photographer has a must-have, and when you're doing Photoshop, it's the same. You need a good running laptop. Mine's quite a high-spec laptop, and I always make sure everything is backed up. All my work is backed up on several hard drives, and it's the best way to do it. So get yourself a good hard drive. Anywhere between 500 gigabyte and a terabyte is brilliant. If you get a bit bigger, that's fantastic, but do not go below 500 gigabyte, because if you're like me and take lots of pictures every day, I've been known to take thousands of pictures in a day without trying. So if you're like me, go for a higher gigabyte or a terabyte hard drive. Obviously, I've touched upon the DSLR, Adobe Bridge, Adobe Photoshop. You can get quite a lot of Adobe programs that are fantastic. The one I did my magazine on wasn't Photoshop, it was another program. I couldn't stand it, but I coped with it. And then most people think this is going to be mad, but get a notebook, because you can write everything down in your history, so you know what you've done. You go into a lot more detail with it, because here it just has crop or hue and saturation. In your notebook, put hue and saturation and then what you actually did. And you can do it in different colours, you can highlight it, you can make it pretty, you can make it manually, depends on who you are. So it's really, really important that you do that. And most of all, make sure you have lots of that. You can be doing this for hours on end. You could get hungry and you could have to break or whatever. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything you'd like to know, just comment or message me on YouTube. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, so I should be able to get back to you. So happy fresh shopping and hope to see you soon.